Hello. It's another bad hair day. Let me get this shared into the group. Oh boy. It's okay. It's okay. Share in a group. Like a buzz. Okay. Hello, everyone. Hello, this is Ella here in the Author Like a Boss on the Author Like a Boss page and the Author Like a Boss free Facebook group, here with another kind of shifty hair day. So this magicalness is happening. If you're watching if you're not in the Author Like a Boss Facebook group or page, make sure you join the group so that you can get your questions answered, get access to more trainings, and hang out with some amazing fellow authors. Hello, Cassandra. Thank you. Thank you. So remember, no matter what you write, if you want to author like a boss, you need to have an author website. Let me tell you, building an author website is the best way for your ideal fans to consistently know where to find you and what's going on in your world and your book's world. That's why this month I've been talking all about your author website for newbies and for everyone else. Okay, so who here has been here for all the trainings? No, who here doesn't have an author website yet? Because I was looking through, because today is the day where we're talking about what not to do on your author website, and we're doing the Q&A. So I was looking through some of the questions that people had posted about their author website, and a lot of the questions were, I don't have one yet. So who here does not have an author website or doesn't know what to put on it, the tech is a little bit confusing, et cetera, et cetera. If that's you, on a scale of 1 to 10, whichever one that is, please share that in the comments. And while you're doing that, I'm going to tell you today we are talking about what not to put on your author website, and I'm going to answer some questions that people had about having websites. So it's exciting day to day, because this one I feel like is you're like, okay, so I'm doing it, but what am I not supposed to do? Am I going to do something I'm not supposed to? And that can stop you from actually moving forward, and we're going to talk about it. So the first thing, what not to do on your author website, is first to not have one. And maybe you don't have one because it feels like too much work, or it's expensive, or you haven't finished writing your book yet even. So I want to address those reasons. Okay, so if you don't have one because it's too much work, I'm going to be honest, there is a little bit of upfront work. Right? There's a little bit of upfront work. It's not just like, it happens. But once you have it up and running, it's actually fairly easy to maintain. Hi, Lloyd. I am so excited about you being back and active, Lloyd. It makes me very, very happiness right now. So you can get the basics of a website set up in about 2 hours. So yes, it's a little bit of upfront work. It's not like it takes 15 minutes, but it's also not like it takes a week. Okay, I can get one set up in like the basics, not including all the content, but just the setup in an hour. So I doubled that for you guys, because it's not that hard to actually get it set up. All the things that are out there make it easier. There's wizards and all kinds of stuff that makes it super easy. So it doesn't have to take that long. And it's easy to maintain once you get it up and going. The second thing, the second reason people don't have a website that I've seen is that because it's too expensive. It doesn't have to be expensive. You can start with a free one and upgrade as you have more money. So go start a free one. Okay. The other reason that people have is you haven't finished writing your book yet. And even if you haven't finished writing your book, this is now is when you want to start working on your website. So these are your like scenarios. Imagine this, okay? So you're writing your book. It's taking you like 4, 5, 6 months. Yay, Melissa! You're writing your book. It's taking you 4, 5, 6 months, right? And at the end, you're finally ready to publish it and put it out, and you know it's going to be ready in a couple of weeks. And all of a sudden, you're like, how am I going to market this thing? And you're like, oh, I need a website. I need to get people on my newsletter. And there's this frantic energy that doesn't feel good. It's like when we were all in school and we waited to the last minute to get that project done. And you're like, shoot, and you're up all night. And then you know that it wasn't your best work when you turned it in. Now imagine another scenario where you've got 5 or 6 months till your book comes out, and you're like, you know what, even though I'm a little bit nervous about this, I'm just going to start my website now, because even if it takes me a month or 2 to get it to where I like it, where I feel comfortable with it, or, or learn the technology, you still have 3 months before the book comes out to start building your newsletter and creating stuff. So that's what I never used to do when I was a kid. That's the scenario where you do things ahead of time, and then you have plenty of time to make it exactly how you want it. So that's what you can do with a website, you guys. It's not that hard to make it, and feel the relief around that, so that when your time comes that you're going to publish your book and you've got a couple weeks, you have a newsletter, you have a website that you like because you spent a little while making sure that it's, on point. And that's what you can do. So don't not have your website. Go start one, even if it's just a free one. Okay. The second thing not to do on your website is to not have a sign up for your newsletter on every single page. Okay. It should be all over the place. Now, I know when you're putting that into your website, it can feel a little salesy. You're like, but it's on every page. I don't want to overwhelm them with opportunity. I don't want to overwhelm them with too many asks. It's not salesy. It's a convenience for your audience. So I'm going to do some scenarios today. What if somebody comes to your site, the pop-up comes up, and they've just gotten there, so they're not quite sure, and they're like, no, they just close it. They don't sign up for your newsletter. But they browse through a few of your pages, they explore your worlds a little bit, like we talked about in earlier trainings. And after they've seen a few things, they're like, ooh, actually, I do want to be on this newsletter. But they already closed the pop-up. So now how are they going to find your newsletter to sign up for it? They're not going to go searching around your site to find it, because they're not going to put that much work into it. If you don't make it easy for them, they're not going to do the work if you haven't done the work for your own book. So have a newsletter sign up on every page, so that when people decide they do want to, they've explored your site a little bit, they're like, oh yeah, I do want to know about this. They can easily make the choice to sign up for your newsletter. The number 3 thing that you should not do on your author website is have too many intentions for it before you get started. Okay, Melissa, I'll get to your question at the end. Or in the Q&A. Okay, have too many intentions. So your website is for your readers. It's for other writers. You're selling editing, and you have books and you have recipes on there and all kinds of stuff on your website. And I'm not saying you can't have all that in there, but the first question that you need to ask yourself is, what do I want this website to do? And then you need to ask, who is this website for? So I recommend having your website specifically for your readers. Now, if your readers, some of them are authors, that's something to know, right? For me, my readers are all authors. Okay, so it's a different thing, but know who your readers are and make sure that you have your website built around your readers and know exactly what you want your website to do. So I recommend that you have your website its intention to have people sign up for your newsletter and find out more about your books and worlds. And once you have books, then you can also have it to guide people to buy your book. Okay, so when you have these intentions in mind, when you're working on it and you're creating stuff for your website, you can make the content and ask yourself, is this something that my ideal readers really want? And it should be like a really want, because people don't have a lot of attention online. So if it's like, it should be like a hell yes, they want this. It shouldn't be like a maybe, see, but you have to know your ideal readers, and we've done trainings about that as well. So go to the YouTube channel. We have all the trainings there. The Author Like a Boss YouTube. So does that make sense, you guys? Does this make sense? The get your website up, have a newsletter on every page. Okay, so here's the what not to do. Don't have a website. Don't make it easy for them to sign up, and have too many intentions. So you can have just around that intentions, it's so important that you have, is this something that my ideal readers want? You can ask that about everything on your website. Then you are going to make a really well-designed, focused site. Okay. Thank you so much. I see Cassandra and Melissa have responded with a yes, that makes sense. I really appreciate that, you guys. Okay, so if you guys, so let me talk about now the Q&A. So if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in here in the chat. I will see if I can go, I will see if I can go to the Facebook group and see if there's any questions there. Okay, so Melissa, I'm going to answer the live questions first. So Melissa says, what do you think of putting book reviews on your author pages? So you're talking about if people have reviewed your book and given it good reviews, and then you want to put it on there. I would do what a lot of big authors do is, so when you have a page for your books, and you should absolutely have a page that's selling your books if you have them. So you have a books page, and people should be able to click either your series or each of your books. Go ahead and have some of those like little mini reviews. So it shouldn't be like whole paragraphs, but have a couple of sentences or even one phrase. You could make it, and you can have the stars next to it. So it's like 5-star. It was amazing. I loved it. Like something like that. Is that kind of the question? Oh, if we review their books. Whose books are you talking about? And I will get back to your question in a second. Okay. Ideal audience is both readers and writers. I'm going to have a section on my website for readers and one for writers. I'm going to have regular blog posts for writers. Should I do the same for readers? Okay. So Cassandra, let's see. I know you're having like separate sections, and I really, really like that. And I think that we got a little bit of good feedback from our training last night with Jess. You guys, with Author Boss Academy, we had a guest trainer last night, and she has her blog it sounds like it's for readers and writers, and her newsletter is more specifically just for readers, or kind of that content. She said she had about 20% for writers content. Cassandra, I'm going to caution you just because I know you. Okay. I'm going to caution you to try and make sure that you have enough content for readers. You want to have readers. It doesn't have to be blog content, but make sure there's enough on the website, character cards, invitations, world descriptions, teasers, because you really want to have enough there for your readers to be able to immerse themselves in the worlds of your books. And then for sure have an invitation to your newsletter. I sound sometimes like a broken record. I'm like, and make sure there's a newsletter invitation. Okay, so Melissa asked, Cassandra says, should I have a lot of content, but not sure if I should throw it all up at once or let it trickle in. It depends on your audience. It depends on your audience, but trickle in. Like, it doesn't take, depending on how much content you have, you can, you could be trickling in, every couple of days. Yeah. You don't have to trickle in over the course of months. You can trickle in over the course of a month and trickle all that stuff in and promote it and post it in various Facebook groups and build your audience relatively quickly. Okay, that's what I would say. And Melissa agrees with me. Trickle in daily. Yes, Melissa and I are on the same page there. Okay, Melissa was asking about having reviews of other authors. And yes, Melissa, I misunderstood your question. You should absolutely review other authors' books on your website. I recommend those as blog posts, especially but I only recommend reviewing them if you're giving them 4 or 5 stars. I don't recommend doing bad reviews for other authors because that gives you a bad name. But I love doing reviews of authors' books as content for your blog post because if you then post that blog post onto social media and you tag the author, then they now know that you've got a fan, plus you wrote a good review of their book, so they're going to post that and their audience is going to find you because it's on your website. I don't recommend having it as a review page because that makes it it makes it about you instead of about, you're like, these are my reviews instead of about your audience and their, like, there are some sites that are like, all we do is review books, but that's not what your intention is. So I would just make your reviews one of your, like, part of your your rotation of blog posts and newsletter stuff. Okay. Yes. Put it in like a blog. I would just say blog. And if all you do is do giveaways and reviews, that's good. That's a good blog. Yeah. Okay. Lloyd says, should I still create my author website newsletter when I only have a few chapters of my book or no book started at all? What do I put on it? Yes. Yes, Lloyd. Make your author website and newsletter sign up now because, one, we know that everybody in the Academy will sign up for your newsletter. You can have it before you could have people sign up to your newsletter before you even have a site. But yes, go ahead and start your site. You can make your author bio. You can get all of the technical stuff done, over time. Like, okay, so I need an about page. I need a contact page. You can get all of that stuff done while you're writing your book. You can pick the images that you need to have to set the tone for your branding. You can get all that stuff done without the franticness of I needed, just with this really ease of energy and intention. Like, oh yeah, I've got plenty of time because I'm still working on my book. But then you get to have fun with it instead of having it be you know what I mean? Does that make sense, Lloyd? Plus then you can get feedback and we can be like, oh, we love that image. It's perfect for you can get all kinds of feedback and stuff and make it a really excellent site that you can be proud of. Melissa says, I thought about putting it in my blog for sending people to other new author pages too, so I can help introduce new authors to people. Yes, I love that. I love the idea of promoting other authors and connecting with other indie authors who maybe aren't huge or maybe like in the same boat that you are, and all of you growing with each other at the same time because you're supporting each other. That's like what makes me happy. Happiness. Okay, good. So Lloyd, you got it. Awesome. Okay, somebody asked what the best color schemes for your websites are. This was earlier. She says, what shades pull people in the most? And I'm going to say it's whatever shades go with your brand. So whatever shades, like if you are fantasy, you're going to have different shades than if you're doing erotica, than if you have, and it's not the color scheme so much as it is the images. So you can kind of make things work, but having a really amazing image to go with your brand. So with my Scarlett Sinclair website, I have some red silk sheets because I want to write paranormal romance so that you kind of get the idea of what my genre is and my book is about from. Also, my pen name is Scarlett Sinclair, so I felt like I had to make it Scarlet, which red is one of my favorite colors, so it all worked out. But that's what, it's not like color schemes like, oh, color schemes. Like, there are some things about colors for websites, but what I'm going to say is way more important is having consistency in your brand. So that means your book covers and your Facebook page and your website are all kind of consistent. Cassandra, you wouldn't have guessed that I like red with this headband and these earrings and this lipstick? That's crazy. Okay. Another question is, how do I decide what to put on there and what doesn't need to be added? So I just answered that. I think a really great way to narrow down what you put on your website is to ask yourself every time, is this something that my ideal readers really want? And if it's not a hell yes, then think about it. And get to know your ideal readers, which we covered in the YouTube. Okay. Another thing is I don't have an author website because I'm not sure if I should use a pen name or a real name. And the reason I put this in here, because, the reason why I wanted to address this is because if you haven't yet chosen a pen name, you are in a really lovely position of being able to choose your pen name based on what domains and or URLs, whatever you call it, are actually still available as .coms. So when I was looking for a pen name, I went to GoDaddy because they have a search bar where you can just start typing names in and see what's available as a .com. And so I really like Scarlett Sinclair, but Sinclair with an I, Sinclair, was already taken. And so I changed it to Scarlett Sinclair, and it's SYN because that was available.com. So if you are in the middle of, choosing your pen name, anybody, authors out there, and you're like, but I don't know, I would absolutely think about your website URL and whether it's available. And if it's available and you like it, go buy it, because it's only like $12 a year max for your domain, even if you don't start your website yet. Lock down your ownership of that domain name. Okay. Another one said, I don't know how to create traffic interaction on my author website. And yes, that is a big question, because it's kind of like websites are not like, if you build it, they will come. They aren't like that, unfortunately. To some extent, you can get lucky. I did one time a food website, and I had a recipe for better than Starbucks apple bran muffins. And I got so many people on there because they were like, Starbucks apple bran muffin recipe. But that was kind of an accident. And there is some strategy if you use keywords and you do some search engine optimization, but I don't think that's what you guys want to focus on. So I'm not going to go into it. So the best way to create traffic and interaction on your author website is to make your website, create your content, and then share it. Share it and invite people who are your ideal readers or fellow authors to come hang out on your author website. Go to Twitter, go to Facebook, in your newsletter. Invite people to come and visit your website and to join your newsletter. And to give you feedback and say, hey, I just made this really great content for you. What do you think? So you have to invite people over. They don't just show up knocking on your door saying, can I come in? Okay. Melissa has another thing. She says, I know this doesn't go with the marketing thing, but I opened a can of worms on the site. I was reading one of our author's books last night and found errors in it. I wondered if we could do a thing on our group about helping each other out with beta. Oh, yes. We do have okay, you guys, Melissa's in the Author Boss Academy. Thank you, Melissa. And we have a we have a beta reading training that we did before you got in there. And we also, and so you can, we have a beta reading training, but not everybody's done it because we have quite a few new people. So maybe that's something we'll look at doing over again. Yep. Okay, Lloyd asks, where do you fall on the .com versus .net debate? I mean, it's not a big deal, but if you can do .com, go with it. It's not a big deal, but if you can do .com, because you don't have a pen name yet, do .com. Oh, yeah. And if you can afford it, sign up for buy all your domains. And GoDaddy and places will usually give you the other ones for a deal. They're like, and then bundle all the rest of these in for $19.99. And then you don't have to worry. You can have them all forward to your one site. Okay, you guys. So today we've talked about what not to do, and we did some Q&A. Thank you guys so much for being here. It's time to take action. So if you guys are not already in the Author Boss Academy and you want to learn how to author like a boss, please come to the Author Like a Boss training that we have. I'm putting the link. You can sign up here. It's authorlikeaboss.com/how-to. And we actually will give you, we have step-by-step tutorials. We talk about all these things about what to post, technical like videos where I walk you through exactly what I did to set up a website with my specific domain and 1 year of hosting for $40. So all of that is in there in the Author Boss Academy. And if you want to find out how to author like a boss, you can go to our training that we have, authorlikeaboss.com/how-to. Next week, you guys, next month, I am talking about how to grow your email list and get super fans. So you guys are going to want to be there for these live trainings on Tuesdays, because that's where I'm going to talk about growing your email list and getting super fans. I also want to let you know that we are changing the format of the lives next month. They're going to be a little bit shorter, so that way it's easier for you to digest. You don't have to commit a full half an hour. It'll be less than 10 minutes, so it'll be like little chunks of really amazing information that you can just show up and go. Okay. And if you want to get reminders of when we're going live, you can go ahead. We will send you a little Facebook message that just says, hey, Ella's about to go live with her live training, and you can sign up for those at authorlikeaboss.com/notify and just click the button, and we will send you a Facebook message when we are going live. So thank you so much for being here, and Author Like a Boss. Hugs and happy writing.